Prison turns party for Kannada actor Darshan. Chilling with beverage, cigarette and gangsters. FaceTimes another murder accused from jail. India today exposes massive rot in jail.
This is a lapse on the part of the department officers. It should not repeat. I see that this will not be repeated again and again.
Sidhu government forced to act. Darshan to be transferred.
There is a lapse on the part of the officers concerned.
Darshan prison party, top focus on 5 Live.
Only the latest reminder of how the law only works for the rich and the privileged in this country. The Darshan Spotlight is an India Today impact story, but I'm going to break it down for you right here on the show. Thanks as always for being with me. Viewer, this year has seen one news headline after another reminding us, the Indian public, of something we've always known and we've always feared to be true in this country, that the criminal justice system, the law and order machinery, the judiciary, the prison system and everything in between basically is mostly working for the rich and the powerful. Barring very, very few exceptions, this is largely true. So say hello to the very latest piece of proof of this age-old belief that all of us as Indians has always held to be true. Superstar Kannada film star Darshan, charged with the murder of one of his fans in a grisly crime saga that was reported extensively across the national media, went into judicial custody on the 22nd of June. And now, just a few weeks later, these images have emerged from Bengaluru's Parapana Agrahara Central Prison under the Karnataka state government. These are pictures of superstar Darshan, charged with murder, mind you, viewer. Sipping coffee out in the open, smoking a cigarette, smile on his face, relaxing with other history sheeters, sitting there, no guards nearby, nobody watching over them, seeming to enjoy a lovely day out in the fresh air of the prison. Nobody even knows if anyone is watching over Darshan, a man accused of the murder of his fan, the grisly details of which horrified an entire country for weeks together earlier this year. Well, it isn't just cigarettes and coffee out in the open as if he's enjoying time with old friends. He also had access to a mobile phone, apparently, inside prison, where he was freely making FaceTime calls to other history sheeters. He was given full access to a mobile phone to make calls as he pleased. Now, how these videos and photographs have actually come out is a different story altogether, which we'll get into at some other point. Because right now, the short point of it is a man accused of murder. And not just murder, premeditated, terrible crime that was detailed, in large part thanks to India Today's coverage, is sitting inside prison. A man notorious for having a violent streak, having friends in high places, having good connections in all strata of society in Karnataka, is sitting inside prison and cocking a snook at the system. Nobody knows who he has actually bribed, but he's sitting there sipping coffee, making FaceTime calls, and this is the only bit that's actually come out in public. Who knows what other facilities, what other luxuries have been presented to Kannada film star Darshan, accused of murder. While under trials languish for years together in terrible conditions inside prisons, including in Karnataka, actor Darshan has obviously been given a nice, clean VIP pass to do exactly as he pleases. And Karnataka's Home Minister, Mr. Parameshwara, who has gone ahead and suspended 9 officials from the Parapana Agrahara prison and in the prison system in general, wants the public to believe, viewer, that nobody in the government knew. This was only a prison issue. Someone in the prison was bribed. Nobody in the government, nobody in the Home Department, nobody in the Sidhu Sarkara had any idea. We're talking about one of Kannada cinema's biggest film stars, viewer. The biggest story to dominate the headlines in Karnataka local media and national media. And Mr. Parmeshwara and Mr. Siddaramaiah want the public to believe. They think the public is stupid enough to believe their nonsense by suggesting that nobody in government knew about it or looked the other way while these favors were granted to a murder-accused celebrity. But you know who I pity the most, viewer? Do you know who I really pity the most? It is the people of Karnataka, it is the people of Bengaluru. Because it is their money, it is their tax money that goes into the cigarettes and the coffee and the FaceTime calls for this murder-accused actor. While the people of Bengaluru get a city that is going from bad to worse in terms of traffic, in terms of potholes, in terms of decrepit, decaying urban infrastructure, in terms of water shortage, in terms of dying lakes, in terms of rising law and order problems, in terms of misplaced priorities of the government, in place of infrastructure that never gets built, in place of flyovers that never get completed, in place of all manner of civic and lifestyle issues in a city that is supposed to be one of India's international cities. The taxes of honest public Bengalurians, the citizens of that state, is going into the funding of the prison lifestyle of a Kannada superstar accused of murder. So if you want to really be angry about one thing, be angry to the people of Bengaluru. Your money going into the funding of a murder-accused actor, and the government under Siddaramaiah wanting all of you, believing all of you to be so stupid to think that nobody in government knows anything about it. Just a handful of lowly prison officials without any sanction from the top have given a high-profile Kannada superstar these favors inside this prison. That is how stupid the government wants you to think you are.
A coffee mug in his right hand, cigarette in his left hand. A relaxed conversation with a group of 3 people. This picture of murder-accused actor Darshan sitting with rowdy cheater Wilson Garden Naga, co-accused Kulla Sina and his manager Nagaraj has now snowballed into a huge controversy. The photo was allegedly taken inside the Parapanna Agrahara prison. Another video accessed by India Today, Darshan along with rowdy cheater Dharma can be seen speaking to another criminal Satya, who is now out of jail, on a video call. Wilson Garden Naga, who was spotted with Darshan, is a dreaded gangster and a murder accused. He used to mediate in real estate disputes and was booked by state police under the Gangsters Act. Naga was also prime accused in 8 murder cases. Another rowdy cheater, Dharma, is seen in a video call allegedly made from the jail. Dharma is accused of murdering another rowdy cheater recently. He was also booked by state police under the Gangsters Act. Satya, who featured in the video call, was recently released from jail. He was imprisoned for a minor offence. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has directed authorities to shift Darshan and other suspects to different barracks.
But there is a lapse on the part of the officers concerned. ಇನ್ನು ಕೆಲವರನ್ನು ಸಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಹೋಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಯಾರು ಇದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು ಯಾರು ನೋಡಿ ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
State Home Minister M.G. Parmeshwara issued orders suspending prison officials and sought a report from the DG after India Today exposed the rot in jail.
Every point of time, there are people who head this prison to take care of this prison. It is those people, the negligence happens. Like this incident, it has happened. So we will take all the necessary precautions. That is why we have suspended the senior most officers.
Sources say the government will move Darshan either to Belagavi or Bellary district jail. While the Congress government said that an internal inquiry was already underway, the BJP demanded a judicial probe.
सस्पेंड कॉमन हो गया 10-15 दिन के बाद उनको सस्पेंशन से हटाने के बाद वो ड्यूटी में ज्वाइन हो जाते हैं। सिटिंग जज का इंक्वायरी होना चाहिए क्योंकि एक गंभीर घटना है।
This has not been endorsed by the government. It might have happened because of some local adjustments with the local prisons in charge or whatever it is. The Home Minister has already ordered an internal inquiry.
The latest pictures of Darshan's bonhomie with gangsters has raised serious questions over security lapses in jail. Darshan is accused in the murder of Renuka Swamy, a fan who was allegedly stalking the actor's partner Pavitra Gowda. Pavitra, an actor, is also an accused in the Renuka Swamy murder case. With Anaga Keshav, Bureau Report, India Today.
So it was solely because of India Today's coverage and the big spotlight on this story that the Karnataka government has now decided to probably transfer Darshan out of the Parapana Agrahara prison in Bengaluru out to some other prison in either Bellary or Belagavi in North Karnataka. Now, actor Darshan is a superstar. You know, outside Karnataka, he may not be as well known, but take it from me, Darshan is a big star in Kannada cinema. He's commonly known just by his mononym of Darshan. His full name is Darshan Tugudipa. Prominent actor, carved out a niche for himself with his commanding screen presence and versatility as an actor, always surrounded, however, by controversies. The murder is only the latest. Take a look at this timeline of Darshan.
47-year-old Darshan Tugudipa is the son of a popular actor, Tugudipa Srinivas, known for portraying negative roles in his times. He began his acting career in the mid-1990s, but his first big screen break was 2002 Majestic. Since then, he has starred in many successful movies like Kariya, Kalasipalya, Gaja, Navagraha, Sarathi, Bulbul, Kranti Veera Sangoli Raina, Kurukshetra, Yajmana, Robert and Katera, delivering at least one super-duper hit movie a year in his more than 2 decades of long career. His on-screen portrayals of a common man on a quest for social justice or an innocent youth dragged into the Bengaluru underworld have been complemented by his off-screen image as a philanthropist and animal lover. He is among the highest paid actors in Sandalwood and his popularity in the industry is unparalleled. And Darshan is no stranger to controversies. Darshan is married to Vijayalakshmi for more than 20 years and has a son. In 2001, the actor got into trouble for allegedly assaulting Vijayalakshmi. He was arrested and booked for attempted murder and domestic violence. But the couple buried the hatchet after mediation by several bigwigs of the industry. In January 2023, Forest Department officials raided Darshan's T. Narsipura farm on the outskirts of Mysuru following a social media video where the actor is talking about the 4 bar-headed geese on his farm. Officials said that the endangered bird was protected under the Wildlife Protection Act and the actor was possessing them in violation of the law. Earlier this year, Darshan was among several Kannada film stars who were issued notices by the police in connection with partying late into the night, in violation of the deadline and creating ruckus at a posh Bengaluru pub. Darshan and the crew of Katera were celebrating the box office success of the film. Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, this just happened in May, June this year, but let me quickly remind you, viewer, how brutally Renuka Swamy, a fan of actor Darshan, was murdered on the 8th of June by Darshan and his aides, allegedly. Darshan's aides beat him up inside a shed in Bengaluru. He was first abducted from Chitradurga, where he lived. He was brought to Bengaluru at the behest of Darshan because Renuka Swamy, this fan, was apparently harassing Darshan's girlfriend. Darshan and his wife Pavitra were also at the spot. The aides beat up the victim in Darshan's presence. They beat him up so badly The injuries are actually unmentionable. The aides of Darshan then slammed the victim against a wall while Darshan was right there. We're not making this up. This is all from the police. Darshan then apparently whipped Renukaswamy, the victim, with his belt, and then he and his girlfriend Pavitra left the spot. The aides continued to beat the victim with iron rods. The victim was tortured with electric shocks, and then he died, and his body was dumped in a drain. This is what investigative sources tell us about the end of Renukaswamy. That's what happened. He was brutally murdered at the behest of actor Darshan, and his team was for allegedly sending lewd messages to another Kannada actor, Pavitra Gowda. While there were rumors that Pavitra was Darshan's partner, the actor's lawyer denied this and said that they were actually just friends. It's a terrible, murky story that has now ended in the man at the center of it all, the accused actor Darshan, being given VIP favors in prison. Don't forget that as you watch this report.
Pavitra Gowda, in her social media handle, identifies herself as a fashion designer, model, artist and managing director of a boutique. She was an aspiring actress who could not land a role in any project in her first attempt. Pavitra got married and a few years later got divorced. Starting a fresh page in her life with her daughter from the first marriage, she tried her luck once again in Sandalwood. And this time she landed a role in Chhatrigalu Sa Chhatrigalu and then acted in Agamaya and Preeti Kitabu. But then she quit the film business and settled down as a fashion designer with a boutique of her own. Reportedly, when Darshan and Vijay Lakshmi's domestic help went through a challenging time in 2011, Pavitra and the superstar became close. The Sandalwood film industry knows her as the superstar's second wife. They were in a relationship, as is evident from her social media post. In January this year, Darshan's wife Vijay Lakshmi and Pavitra were involved in a public spat on social media over the superstar. It began with Vijay Lakshmi posting her picture with her husband and son on Instagram. Hours later, Pavitra posted a video with a collage featuring photographs of her with Darshan and her daughter with the caption, "One decade down, forever to go. It has been 10 years of our relationship." Vijay Lakshmi responded angrily, posting photographs of Pavitra with her daughter and husband and threatening to take legal action against her. Their very public spat led to many fans reacting negatively to Pavitra. Renukaswamy was one such fan who trolled Pavitra and allegedly not only sent abusive messages but vivid lewd pictures to her. This, the police now claims, led to Darshan hunting Renukaswamy down. That led to his death eventually. Allegedly, Pavitra Gowda too was present in the shed with Darshan where Renukaswamy was kept and beaten up. Both Pavitra Gowda and Darshan are now in police custody. Darshan's lawyer has denied any relationship between the two other than friendship.
Very first, I just want to bring to all the media the thing is, first everybody telling that she is the second wife. Pavitra Gowda is the second wife. That is utter false, and it is a false statement also. Just she is a friend before. Actually, she was working as an actress. Okay, just having only a friendly relationship, nothing else. The only wife is that the first wife, Vijay Lakshmi, is the first wife. No second marriage was happened at any point.
So Pavitra, so Pavitra is Darshan's friend, nothing more.
The rumors, what was happened. Darshan, nothing more.
Pavitra Gowda today is the hated third person in Darshan's life, at least as far as the superstar's fans are concerned. Bureau Report, India Today.
I'll go across to India Today's Anaga Keshav and Sagai Raj, the two reporters that broke the story, put the spotlight on it, forced the entire media to take up the story in a big way, and have today ensured an actual impact in the story. Sagai, the story has moved very rapidly ever since we broke these images that came into the spotlight yesterday on India Today. First of all, let's talk about the investigation itself. The government in Karnataka makes it look like they had absolutely no idea about what's going on. They've thrown a few prison officials under the bus. It seems a little hard to believe that someone as high profile as Darshan, doing whatever he wants in prison, could have done so without some kind of high-level sanction. Call me a cynic, but that seems very, very unlikely.
Absolutely, Shiv. If you notice, there are CCTV footage in and around Parappanagarahara prison, inside as well as outside. Every nook and corner you'll find CCTV footage. Apart from that, you have police personnel who monitor every single move of all this convicted and under trial prisoners inside Parappanagarahara. And 3 is that the jammer. You have jammers across Parappanagarahara. In fact, people outside Parappanagarahara protested, saying that they are unable to get signal. One person died because the ambulance couldn't reach on time because there was no network. They had to walk for 1 kilometer to get a network, and they had protested in front of Parappanagarahara. These are all the history which has happened. So these are the things, and the CCTV cameras have been monitored outside Parappanagarahara, say around 20 kilometers away from Parappanagarahara in Sheshadri Road in the heart of the city, by the senior police officials headed by one of the senior officers. So these are the people who monitor every single movement of all these prisoners inside Parappanagarahara. Despite all these things, they come happily, sit in a garden area, have a cup of tea with a cigarette, where you are not allowed, and you see the kind of people that he shared that particular place. It is Wilson Garden Naga, where he has 8 murder cases. Apart from that, you have extortion case, kidnap case, and several other cases against him. And you also have Kulla Sina, who is murder accused. And the person who dials a video call, that is Dharma, who also have a rowdy sheeter on him, and he has recently murdered another rowdy sheeter called Karthike, and he is behind bars and arrested by Banaswadi police station. So he had shared relationship with all these people inside Parappanagarahara prison, and still the officials claim that they weren't aware about this and they have suspended all these people. So I would like to highlight one of the statements made by the Chief Minister of Siddaramaiah during an interaction with senior IPS officers in Nrupatunga Road, where he himself said that he and his friend received a phone call from inside the prison, and he has asked the prison officials as well as the senior IPS officer to ensure that these lapses should not happen. And I would like to highlight one more incident, Shashikala incident. It is the media which has highlighted that Shashikala used to get all kind of amenities inside Parappanagarahara prison. And there were allegations that she stepped out of the prison, went for a shopping, and came inside the prison again. So, despite exposing all these things, despite showing that there are lapses by the prison officials, but still they haven't learned any lessons in Darshan's case. They should be quite well aware that the media is monitoring. It is a high-profile case. Even a single photograph or single lapses will be highlighted, and it is going to be a major impact on people as well as the government.
And I'm glad you mentioned the Sasikala case from a few years ago, Sagai, because this basically shows that the prison system never changes. You know, I cannot imagine how many people are languishing in the Parappanagarahara prison, waiting for a hearing date, waiting for a court date, waiting for their family to visit them, you know, probably interminably under trial, living in terrible conditions, while this guy is sipping, you know, taxpayer-funded cigarettes and coffee and FaceTime calls, you know, while others are suffering inside the same prison. Nothing ever changes. That is the big message from this. Before I go to Anaga, Sagai mentioned this, because the people that Darshan seems to be chilling with inside prison are very, very important. These are not just some random prisoners. Wilson Garden Naga is a murder accused and a dreaded gangster, killed rowdy sheeters, resolved real estate disputes, is booked under the State Gangsters Act, is a prime accused in 8 murder cases. That is friend number 1 to Darshan in his party chill. Then there is Dharma, also murder accused, recently killed a rowdy sheeter, booked under the Gangsters Act. He is friend number 2 to Darshan inside prison. Satya, recently released from prison, previously jailed for a minor offense, was a jailmate of Dharma, was jailed for threatening college students. He is friend number 3 of Darshan. So clearly Darshan keeping very, very good company inside jail, positive company inside jail, mixing with all the gangsters, people with whom he obviously had connections with both inside and outside prison. Anaga, you know, obviously spooked by India Today's coverage. The government, wants us all to wear our, Dumbo hats and think that the government had no idea about what was going on, and B, now they've talked about apparently shifting Darshan out of the Parapana Agrahara prison and send him somewhere else, which to me is actually an admission. By saying that they will transfer him somewhere else, the government is basically saying we have no faith in our own prison system, basically saying they are incompetent and have no control.
Well, Shiv, in fact, Home Minister himself stated that there are lapses in the prison department, and that's why Darshan will either be shifted to Bellary prison or to Belagavi. And also, several measures will be taken up inside Parapana Agrahara prison in order to beef up security. For example, even this morning, Malini Krishnamurthy, who is the DGP prisons, she stated that they will be roping in AI monitored systems as well going forward in the future. CCTVs inserted with AI monitored systems that will be put in every single cell in Parapana Agrahara is what she said. Apart from that, manpower is also to be increased in Parapana Agrahara prison. So these are few of the measures that the Home Minister has directed prison authorities to take up to ensure that these instances don't really happen in the future. But Shiv, let me just remind you, a few weeks back, Darshan has moved the court seeking for home-cooked food for him, which was later quashed. Court denied giving home-cooked food to Darshan. But cut to just few weeks, you can see Darshan chilling with a cigarette and with a cup of tea. All of this just implies that this whole saga of court denying Darshan home-cooked food just implies that was it all a show for the public to think that VIP treatment was not given to Darshan, but in reality, he was given a cigarette. In fact, our sources have also confirmed that there were containers found with perfume bottles, liquor bottles, hordes of cigarette packets. So was it all just an eyewash to the public eye is the big question. And now the kind of people that Darshan was chilling with, one of the most dreaded gangsters in Karnataka. We're also being told that all of these gangsters are going to be sent to different barracks in order to ensure that they don't meet up like the way they did in the future. But for now, 9 officers have been suspended. 2 top officers. In fact, after severe media backlash, that was when Home Minister Parameshwar said, apart from just jailers and jail wardens, 2 top senior cops inside Parapana Agrahara prisons will be suspended. So for now, 9 officers have been suspended who work inside the prison.
I just want to leave our viewers with that question in their minds. Do you think some random prison officials would dole out such favors to a high-profile murder accused inside prison without direct sanction from the government? Keep that thought. We will continue to track this big breaking story by India Today's Bengaluru team. Anaga and Sagai, thank you very much for joining me for the moment on this story. The similarities are absolutely uncanny. Earlier today, a drone launched by Ukraine went slamming into a high-rise tower in the Russian city of Saratov. It's a picture that reminded millions of people across the world of a horrifying image that had taken place 23 years ago on September the 11th, 2001 in Manhattan, New York City. These 2 images on your screen are nearly a quarter century apart. The image, obviously on the left side of your screen, of an Al-Qaeda attack using airliners on the World Trade Center, sparking one of the biggest anti-terror movements in the world. And on the left-hand side of your screen, images of a Ukrainian drone in the 3rd year after the Russian invasion of that country. Not very different, but in one case, hundreds of people died. In the other case, 2 people have been injured, but it comes as a reminder that warfare may have changed, but tactics and the way weapons are used have not really changed very much at all. And it doesn't help that these 2 images are so creepily similar. The angle from which they've been shot, the manner in which in one an airliner and in another a drone go careening into a building. The fact that you see an explosion of that kind, you can hear the person recording those videos actually talk in expletives while they are recording it. So very similar, it truly gets under your skin. But the focus is not 9/11 now. I only wanted to show you those 2 pictures to show you how things really haven't changed that much in terms of warfare, but boy, have they really changed. Watch this report about what Ukraine has done in Russia now.
Ukraine launches 9/11-like attack on Russia. Это пиздец, 37-этажку прилетел, блядь!
A drone launched by Ukraine struck into 38-story building in Russia's Saratov region. The exact moment of the drone attack was captured on camera and it went viral on social media. Many people were injured in the attack and several houses were damaged. Soon after the drone attack, Russia unleashed a barrage of missiles and drones towards Ukraine. Multiple explosions were heard in key Ukrainian cities, including capital Kyiv and Kharkiv. The situation in Pokrovsk remains tense, with fighting continuing in multiple areas. Due to bombardment by Russia, blackouts were reported across Ukraine. Ukrainian forces shot down a Russian cruise missile near Zakarpattia in western Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Sunday said their forces had advanced 1 to 3 kilometers in the Kursk region and taken control of 2 settlements.
I just spoke with Commander-in-Chief Syrskyi. We have advanced into the Kursk region ranging from 1 to 3 kilometers. We brought under our control 2 more settlements and active developments are ongoing concerning another settlement. We are boosting our tally of captured Russian soldiers.
The Russian Defense Ministry, on the other hand, claimed its armed forces had pushed back Ukrainian troops in the Kursk region. Bureau Report, India Today.
The effort in the past several days has been to get Russia and Ukraine not just to talk to each other. India's efforts constantly have been for dialogue and diplomacy in a violence-free environment, for dialogue between the two countries. But less than 3 days after Prime Minister Narendra Modi left Kyiv, there has been a massive strike by Ukraine and then by Russia. The situation all set to escalate. Gaurav Sawant in Delhi for India Today.
And following that attack using drones on a Russian city, apparently a residential tower, with information still coming in. Now, information coming in of a big, aggressive Russian counter-strike. Russia has pummeled Ukraine in retaliation. Videos coming in of Russian missiles hitting a reservoir near the capital, Kyiv. Ukrainian power plant has also been damaged in a Russian drone and missile strike. Russia has reportedly launched more than 100 missiles and drones in retaliation for this morning's attack on the city of Saratov. Reports of nationwide blackouts introduced following a major Russian missile barrage on energy infrastructure across Ukraine. So this is one big escalation taking place just days after Prime Minister Modi departed from Ukraine. I want to bring in India Today's Gaurav Sawant, who's just back from Kyiv himself. Gaurav, a terrible contrast. When you were there, not a single air raid siren, everything seemed peaceful. Now reports coming in from Kyiv, about the sounds of explosions and the surrounding areas apparently being hit by Russian missiles and drones.
The situation is extremely grim across Ukraine. The information we've been able to get is 15 locations, 15 regions all across Ukraine have been targeted, and even the Kinzhal hypersonic cruise missiles have been used by Russia. So they've used the Tupolev 22 and the Tu-95 long-range bombers. They've been used, missiles have been used, rockets have been used, power stations have been targeted, infrastructure has been targeted, bridges and roadheads have been targeted. It's a very systematic counter-strike by Russia after the early morning drone strike by Ukraine, which incidentally was aimed at one of the air bases that was used to launch these fighter jets and long-range fighter bombers into Ukraine. So right now, the counter-strike has led to massive power cuts and power blockages and blackouts all across Ukraine. So the Sumy region has been targeted, the Zaporozhye region has been targeted, Kyiv has been targeted, Kharkiv has been targeted, and the apprehension is that the situation could now take a turn for the worst. Thousands and thousands of people were forced to take shelter in underground bomb shelters and metro stations because the apprehension was that there could be further missile, rocket and airstrikes on Ukraine, Shiv.
This is a situation that's in its third year now. Gaurav's just back. We will continue to report on this fresh escalation and see if it continues on that escalatory path. Gaurav, thanks very much for getting us those inputs. Dramatic videos continuing to stream in, as always, from Ukraine and Russia. US astronauts Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore, who went to the International Space Station some months ago, are not coming back anytime soon. They were supposed to be in space for exactly 1 week, and now it's been over 81 days with the end not really in sight. Why are we showing you pictures of Elon Musk? I'll tell you. Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore, who've been stuck in space now at the International Space Station for 81 days because of the Boeing crew capsule malfunctioning and not being prepared to bring them back safely just yet, will now only return to Earth sometime early next year. NASA has announced that in the meantime, while they're conducting tests on the Boeing Starliner to make sure it's completely safe to bring back the 2 astronauts from the International Space Station, Elon Musk's SpaceX could be on standby to bring back the 2 astronauts using his own crew capsule called the Crew Dragon in February 2025. After Boeing's Starliner experienced serious technical glitches, making it deemed unsafe for Sunita and Butch to return in, NASA has decided to bring back the spacecraft without its crew, leaving Sunita and Butch at the International Space Station. NASA is now considering Plan B, where Sunita and her co-astronaut Butch will make their way possibly back home on an Elon Musk-owned SpaceX Crew 9 mission sometime in February next year. Now, all of this is still in the air. It's not confirmed just yet. It's one of the possibilities. The mission slated for 4 astronauts will now take only 2 astronauts to space, so the capsule has seats to bring back Sunita and Butch. What started as originally an 8-day-long space mission has turned 8 months long. India Today spoke exclusively with Russian cosmonaut Sergei Korsakov, who spoke about the time when he was stuck in space for nearly 6 months. Here's what he told us.
Let me also ask you this question. Sunita Williams, the astronaut, she's in space. There was an issue with Starliner, and many debates are coming up claiming that it might be a crisis or it could be something that needs to be worried. Is that so, or is she all right?
They are all right, astronauts are all right, and all the crew is all right, and I believe that any issue will be solved. So I believe in the success of their mission.
So in case the Starliner does not work, Soyuz or Dragon crew thing can be used to bring her back?
I guess space agencies think about every possibility to use Dragon or Soyuz, so they will make their best decision they could.
8 days have turned into 81 days and could turn into 8 months before Sunita and Butch are brought back safely from the International Space Station. Elon Musk's SpaceX is planning a mission in February 2025 and is standing by to get orders to bring them back. This is truly a story that involves us all, because these are 2 brave astronauts who went up into space on a mission that was supposed to last just a little over a week, but are now pretty much for all practical purposes out there with a little bit of uncertainty over how and when they're going to be brought back safely. Take a look.
Sunita Williams stranded in space till 2025, and there are serious concerns now about her health. The NASA astronaut will in all likelihood come back to Earth only in February 2025. After her ride to space, the Boeing Starline developed technical issues. What was meant to be a 7-day journey has become a long wait in space now. And this long stay in space could have serious repercussions on Williams' health, both physical and mental. Experts worry that Sunita would suffer from bone weakness and be exposed to high radiation for long periods of time. And needless to say, the mental effects of being in space for so many months is also a concern. Anxiety and loneliness, experts opine, could kick in. It's not just Sunita but also Butch Wilmore who's currently stranded, and they will have to count on each other to keep spirits up. Although the International Space Station, a $150 billion flying laboratory above Earth, is well equipped with living facilities, sleeping quarters and even a gym, an artificial environment away from the protection of the home planet is always challenging, as shown by Sunita herself years ago.
You actually have sort of the bird's eye view of where Butch's eyes were. Right now on the display we actually have a tablet, because while we're in the space station we're doing some other activities on the tablet. We also have controls to fly the spacecraft. We have a rotational hand controller, and actually behind the camera, might be a little bit hard, is a translational hand controller, and that's how we were able to fly the spacecraft.
3 red flags arise: the high radiation levels in space. In 1 week, Sunita will be exposed to 1 year's worth of radiation on Earth, and in some parts the radiation in space is 30 times higher than on Earth. Second is bone weakness due to months of zero gravity, which means more exertion on bones and muscle. This can lead to serious risk of injury, and Sunita will have to be doubly careful. And finally, mental health issues. Considering Sunita was scheduled for a 7-day journey to space, that's now become completely unpredictable. Interestingly, Sunita Williams is currently going round the Earth at a speed of 27,000 kilometers per hour. And so, in a matter of 8 months, when she starts her return back to Earth, she will be 0.01 seconds younger than anyone on Earth born at the exact time and date as her. NASA is now doing everything they can to figure out Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore's homecoming, and let's hope their return happens at the earliest. Bureau Report, India Today.